right, y'all, welcome back, brothers and sisters. So I realized in that last video I made, not the last one, but the one before the last, I tend to just be all over the place. And so I'm going to try to stay on task here. The one there I was talking about like a pre-tribulation rapture possibility versus, I really wanted to get talking about the days of Lot and the days of Noah. So too shall be the coming of man. And I didn't even get to that until like an hour, until an hour in. So I want to cover that, all these verses in this video, but also want to talk about, as in the days of Noah, specifically the dates. So we've been tracking the moon, and anytime we spot that first sliver, we got like 380 something people in the Discord and a bunch of people on TikTok, and we're all reaching out to each other all around the world, telling us when we spot that first sliver. When you spot that first sliver, let us know. So today is November 5th, and it's before sunset at the time of recording this. So it's November 5th before sunset, and it would be the 30th of Tishri. So after sunset, I believe we're going to see the first sliver, and that's going to put us into Chesvan 1. Now, what's the importance of Chesvan 1? Well, Chesvan, the month of Chesvan, that is a month where the flood started, and that's where we're headed. So assuming we're headed to the month of Chesvan. So as soon as we see that first sliver, it's Chesvan 1, right? Now, the interesting thing is, we're going to go over this, but November 15th would be, this November 15th would be the day that Noah and his family got on the ark. Noah and his 7 family members. Right? Noah and his 7 family members get on the ark, and then for 7 days they're on the ark until the flood waters start. So we're going to go through all the scripture and verses of that, but I want to point out that November 15th will be the day that Noah and his family got on the ark, and November 22nd will be the day that the flood waters started. And then, cut to the day the ark landed on Mount Ararat, which means to reverse the curse. That it was on Resurrection Day. Passover, unleavened bread, Resurrection Day. Passover, when Jesus Christ gives up his spirit to become the Passover lamb for us and atonement for our sins. The second day, unleavened bread, which, yes, so I know the whole 7-day period is all unleavened bread. Here I go again, so off track, but it's all necessary to know. Unleavened bread is a day after Passover. So that's the day Jesus goes into that's when he's buried, right? His death, burial, resurrection, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits. First fruits is the day that the ark lands on Mount Ararat. But the day of unleavened bread, the second day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, is known as unleavened bread. The first day is Passover, and then unleavened bread, and then first fruits. First fruits is the day all the priests, this is before Jesus, that the priests would offer up their first fruits of the barley harvest. So this is going to be important when it comes into play. We're going to talk about how God switches the months from Tishri to Nisan or Abib, and how they change the name of Abib to Nisan and the name of Spica to Abib. There's a lot to cover here, and it's going to be a real fun one. So it's all important just to know that, the November 22nd is the day the flood water started. And then we can chart the calendar to the day the ark rested, and it's right on first fruits. So Jesus fulfills all this stuff. They would offer the first fruits up to God for the barley harvest. And if it was approved, then the harvest would be ripe to harvest. So that's why Jesus, on first fruits, he rose from the dead and was a first fruit offering for all those to be resurrected with an eternal body. And Jesus, our Messiah, it's just so beautiful. So want to kind of show the scripture and get to the days of Noah and the days of Lot. Let's see, where's the days of Lot? Let's see. Oh no, my computer's going slow. I just like to have some of the images and stuff in the background for people I'm working on. I wish y'all could see this here. This is a, I post a link to this in the Discord, or picture of it in the Discord. It's like we're keeping track of every single day, so we're trying to figure out the lunar Sabbath. And been charting it for a while now, months and months now. But it's always the first quarter, the full moon, the last quarter, and the crescent moon, last sliver, where the lunar Sabbath will fall on. The lunar Sabbath, which will be the 7th day. So as soon as you see that first sliver, that's going to be your day 1. And then you go 7 days. It will always land on the first quarter of the moon. It's beautiful. You can look up and you could see the moon literally cut in half on the right side. Remember, the moon always fills in from right to left. It waxes on until it's full, and then it wanes on until it's the last sliver, or the crescent moon. And it always fills in from right to left, just like Hebrew reads from right to left. Isn't that interesting? I love that. And so it fills in from right to left. Just want to add this. I know I'm all over the place, but when God spoke creation into existence, he spoke it in numbers, letters, and pictures. And the Hebrew language, God's name, Yod-He Vav-He, is encoded in equidistant letter spacing codes and all throughout the Bible. YHVH 10565 is encoded in the Bible. So it's leading me to believe that Hebrew language is the language of God and the angels. I don't know about the angels because sorry. I think the angels, look, it's the language God gave us is what I'm trying to say. Because remember when the Holy Spirit dropped on the day of Pentecost, which was already a festival, by the way. That was when Moses received the 10 Commandments from Jesus. So remember they were all speaking in tongues in a language they knew not, but everyone understood? I wonder if that was the language. But so just wanted to point that out, just how interesting it is that we are I'm not setting any dates on anything here, not at all. I'm just pointing out how incredible it is that we are in the month of Chesvan, and we can chart out through our due diligence and the love and support from all the community of everyone spotting the moon and studying the verses and figuring it out. We know that November 15th is the day that Noah and his family got on the ark, and November 22nd is the day the floodwater started. And then the day the ark rested on Ararat is Resurrection Day. And we know that Noah's name means rest, comfort, and grace, depending on which way you spell it. Rest and grace and comfort, and how everything in the Bible is just all so connected. And Jesus literally said himself, as in the days of Noah. So we're going to have to get into the Luke and the Matthew ones. So let's just go skip here. I just want to show you this real quick. So, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. So we can see what's going on right now is volcanoes going off. This other volcano supposedly going to cause a tsunami. And we got to make sure one thing's clear. We know that God will not destroy the whole earth by flood again, right? And days of Noah was by flood, days of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah was fire. But what I'm trying to point out is that it really feels like there's a ton of Bible verses that destroyed in an hour. An hour. The hour of trial, the hour of temptation. And then think about Mystery Babylon in 1 hour. Check this out. So what I'm trying to get at is, what if this all happens just like in 1 hour, and we literally see it coming? Us saints, we see it coming, and we just have faith in Jesus, and as soon as it comes, it's like a protective bubble or something around us, so you know that I'm God, and that's when we go. I heard someone had a vision of something like that, how they saw it coming, and then they had a protective bubble around them, and they heard, so you know I am God, and then they were raptured up. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. That could be a possibility. Babylon in 1 hour has fallen. So check this out. This is literally saying 1 hour. Revelation 18:10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. In 1 hour. It's literally saying in 1 hour. And there's a lot of verses talking about this. I think Revelation 3:10. Let's see, Revelation 3:10. We're getting there. We're getting there, friends. So I wanted to put together a lot of the verses about how that could point to a possibility of a pre-tribulation rapture. But again, I'm open to all this, a lot of stuff. But because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. And this is talking about the church of Philadelphia, which is so important. Revelation 3. Watch, the church of Philadelphia is so important. The Philadelphia and Smyrna, because those are the two loyal and faithful churches. Look, I made a whole hour-and-a-half video on this, on just the churches, but just a quick recap. So this is Sardis. So the angel of the church of Philadelphia, right? These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth, right? Look, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. Okay, remember that, an open door, and no man can shut it, for thou hast a little strength, and thou hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. So this verse here, synagogue of Satan, is also used in Smyrna, the other good church. But Smyrna is put through tribulation and persecution, which say they are Jews and they're not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. So how? This is all covered in the other video, but just quick recap. Like, how could the Jews come and worship at our feet? Those who say they're Jews that are not, but they worship Satan, come and worship at our feet. A pre-tribulation rapture? Possibly. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay, so what could this mean, right? Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. I mean, we're being kept from the hour of temptation. Sounds to me like it's a pre-tribulation rapture. We're going to get there too with the days of Lot and the mark of the beast and how they were still buying, selling, and trading. So first thing I want to cover is Noah's flood and show the date so we can chart it out. And then try to get into the calendar and the moon and how it's all set up. Because remember, the evening and the morning were the first day. The evening and the morning were the second day. The Bible tells us it's evening to evening, sunset to sunrise. That's when the days switch. And they made it so confusing with the Julian calendar and then the Gregorian. Like, let me ask you this. If Pope Gregory really, really loved God and worshiped God, why wouldn't they make the months to honor God? They're honoring pagan gods. Oh, what? Like, what is going on? At least with the Hebrew calendar, their Abib is known as the ripe barley, and the rest are just month 2, month 3, month 4, and then like days are, the first day and day 2 to day 4. I know they have names for their months. What I'm saying is, like, they could have at least put numbers. Like, why do our months have to honor pagan gods? It's so much, but I don't think I finished covering the lunar Sabbath. Will always fall on the 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th. And if you look, it's always the first quarter when the moon's to the right and it's halfway, just sliced in half perfectly. You'll know that is lunar Sabbath from sunset to the next sunset. And then when it's a full moon, remember the moon is like kind of full for 3 days, just like it's dark for 3 days. It's full for 3 days, but you got to find that. I mean, you could look at it, you can see when it's truly full. That will also be 7 days after the first quarter. It'll be a full moon. That'll be the lunar Sabbath. And then the last quarter, which will be the same thing as the first quarter, but the other way, perfectly sliced down the middle. But the last quarter is always a little bit later than the first quarter. So, but still, it's the 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th would be the lunar Sabbaths. But remember, in Romans 14:5, one man considers one day holy. Let's just pull it up. Romans 14. Here I go again, all over the place. I guess that's just my thing. I'm just going to have to be all over the place. Romans 14:5. I'm trying to look for KJV here. I get so much hate and stuff from Christian community on TikTok, and it's real sad. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day, regardeth it unto the Lord. And he that regardeth not the day, to the Lord he doth not regard it. Right? So basically saying, remember, the 4th commandment is to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. And also, how the Catholic Church changed it to Sunday. which the case for that is what they say is it's her holy, the Catholic Church can just do it because they're the Catholic Church. They can do whatever. But you remember that Good Friday, Jesus gave up his spirit, and then Sunday, he rose from the dead. I forgot to say about unleavened bread, the day when he was buried is the day he went into the oven and got the keys of hell and death from Satan. Which is also bread. Unleavened bread goes into the oven, and it's pierced and striped without yeast. It's unleavened without yeast. Leaven is without yeast. Leaven is like yeast. So it's pierced and striped, and he was pierced and striped for our transgressions. And that was written well before, and the Jewish people still didn't accept him as Messiah. They have a hardening on their heart. So that was unleavened bread, and yeast. Yeah, that's why it's flat, because there's no sin. And Jesus is the first fruits without sin. Oh, it's just so beautiful, right? So just remember, about the lunar Sabbath, I'm by no means telling anyone that they need to do it this way, I'm just pointing things out in the Bible. And really what I think happened was, they were nomadic, agricultural calendar before the exile to Babylon. Once they were in the exile to Babylon, they were there for so long, they got so used to their ways, they adopted their rigid calendar. But it still was Friday to Saturday, evening to evening, which was the seventh day. Because Sunday is the first day. And so the Pope changed it to the first day, which is Sunday, but claiming that it's because that's the day of first fruits when Jesus rose from the dead. And the other thing, you can't really keep a nomadic agricultural calendar because the lunar Sabbath will change days each month. For example, in Tishri, it was, let's see, hang on. So, sorry, in Elul, the lunar Sabbath was Tuesday, Wednesday. And in Tishri, it's Wednesday, Thursday. So once we spot the first sliver, which I'm assuming we're going to see it today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be Thursday, Friday, I think, will be the lunar Sabbath. So every month, you see how it changes? In a working society, it's easier to keep it on Saturday, even though it's evening, Friday evening to Saturday evening. It's easier to keep it on a Saturday, that way people have days off on the weekend. But if it's nomadic, agricultural like this, every month it's going to change, and you can't chart it out into the future. That's why the Hebrew calendar is like this. They wanted a calendar that they can chart out into the future. But the Bible tells us we can't do that. You got to wait, and you got to watch what the moon does, because it could be 1.5 to 3.5 days of darkness. And that's why the Sabbath changes days every month. Right? So anyways, one day we'll be priests alongside Jesus Christ, millennial reign, and then we'll be doing exactly how we're supposed to be doing in earth as it is in heaven. For now, we're just kind of practicing and studying and learning along. I just wanted to point out this one here, that by no means am I judging anyone, because it tells you right here, one man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Which to me, every day is to glorify God. So, and since we have because thou hast kept the word and the patience, he will also keep us from the hour of temptation which will come on the whole world to try them, right? So, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast to which thou hast, that no man can take thy crown. But now check this out, right? This is the church of Philadelphia, which will be kept from the hour of temptation. And I have set before them an open door. There's an open door in front of Philadelphia. I covered this in my last video, but let's go to Revelation 4:1. Not my last video. I'm talking about the video I made about the churches, all the churches. So remember, an open door in Philadelphia. Close some tabs here. An open door. I have set before you an open door that no man can shut. Well, I would think that'd be a door in heaven. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard, as it were a ram's horn shofar, saying to me, come up hither. Right? So Church of Philadelphia placed before them an open door. And then after all the 7 churches, the churches are not mentioned again. They're not mentioned again until we come back. And it even gives you a list of people on the earth. In Revelation 6:15. Why, if the church is still here, why is it not mentioning them? I got so many tabs open, I think it's going to slow. Then the kings of the earth, and the great ones, and the generals, and the rich, and the powerful, and everyone, slave and everyone, slave and free, hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. Well, you would think it would say the church as well, but it doesn't. So right after the open door in heaven, after the churches, after a open door is placed before the church of Philadelphia, they don't bring it up again. After this, I behold, a door was open in heaven. It said, come up hither. And then, so we can talk about the church of Smyrna, which is also a loyal and faithful church. Ephesus. See, and unto the church in Smyrna write these things. I know thy works and tribulation. See, what I'm thinking is these are going to be the people left in tribulation. For reasons that are difficult to get into. But it seems like if you don't believe in pre-tribulation rapture, there won't be one for you. If you know what I mean? If you do believe in it, there will be one. Because a lot of these people are they're ready for this apocalypse. They've been, I don't want to say preppers, but they're like ready for it. They almost, I don't want to say they want a tribulation. That's not what I'm saying. But they want to be here working. And God's going to need people here working. So it's almost like these two faithful churches, Smyrna and Philadelphia, are the two groups, the pre-tribulation rapture group and the worker group. Because Smyrna, this is a good church. Smyrna's a good church. The only two. Right? And both these churches have the same verse, have the same thing, right? I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews but are not, are synagogue of Satan. It says the same thing in Revelation in Church of Smyrna. It's only these two churches, synagogue of Satan. So it's just interesting. So they're definitely connected, right? Fear none of those things. But remember, this is a good church. So fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death. We'll talk about the 10 days. So look, Smyrna's a good church, but it's being persecuted in 10 days. Now think about the days of awe. I've been studying and trying to figure out what this 10 days mean. I think it could have something to do with the days of awe, where it's Feast of Trumpets for 2 days, and then 7 days of awe leading up to Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, the most holy day. That's a 10-day period. And on a Jubilee, Day of Atonement and Feast of Trumpets are on the same day. So this 10 days really got me thinking, like, wow, I wonder if that means from Feast of Trumpets to Day of Atonement. All right, we're getting there. So let's first cover Noah's flood and the days, and go over Genesis and how November 15th is going to be the day. And then I want to get to a lot of the verses that kind of point to a pre-tribulation rapture as a possibility, as a definite possibility. I just want to close a couple things here because 2 Thessalonians 2. This a lot of people will get the day of Christ and the day of the Lord. They say it's one event. But if you look here, the Latin Vulgate, they kind of changed the word. I covered this before, but real quick, see, look, the day of the Lord. It's like, don't be worried if people are telling you the day of the Lord has already come. Don't listen to them, is what he's saying, right? The day of the Lord, the day of the Lord, the day of the Lord. But if you go into King James, it says the day of Christ. That's the day of Christ. This is the same verse. Right? So it's the day of Christ. See, why would they do that? Why would the Pope give us a Gregorian calendar and not have the months honor God? Why would the Pope, Gregory, also responsible, really big part in the Latin Vulgate? Because remember, the Dark Ages. That's why it's called the Dark Ages. They didn't have a Bible. If they really were all for God, why were they doing this? Why are they changing? Why? It's the day of Christ, not the day of the Lord. All these other versions. It has to be best based on the Masoretic text and the Textus Receptus. It has to be. It's got to be. So anyways, just wanted to point that out. So let's go into Genesis. Let's see, Genesis 7. And let's show you how we are, this is where we are. We're in Chesvan. But one thing to keep in mind is that the Hebrew calendar is off by a month. Okay, because that's why they're adding an Adar too. If you look, we can show you the verses, but there's 12 tribes, 12 months. 12 constellations, 12 months. 12 trees of life in Revelation in New Jerusalem, representing each month having a new yield of fruit. If there was going to be a 13th month, the Bible would told us to have a 13th month. But they're adding an Adar too to try to kind of keep up. Because like I said, they wanted to have a calendar you could chart out into the future. You have to wait till on or after the spring equinox. You have to see Spica on the horizon with a new moon in the lamb, just in the Aries, the ram, just before the first sliver, and the sun will be in the tail end of Pisces. The tail end. It's always funny, like we're at the tail end of this, and that's the tail end of the year. Adar is the end of Adar is when the moon is in the tail end of Pisces, which is the shortest constellation. And I was like, wonder if that means. No, tail end means something like tail end Charlie, some bomber jet formation. But I'm saying it means a tail end because the tail end of the year is when the sun is in the tail end of Pisces. That way, by Passover, the 14th, it'll be in Aries, and the moon will come up through. It'll testify of the story of Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits. The Aries will go down under the horizon into the grave on Passover, and then the moon will rise up. The full moon will rise up. These are the 3 days of the full moon too, by the way. When it's a one day, but you know what I'm saying? It looks full. In the center, it's full. I'm all over the place. This is fun. I love it. All right. So the moon rises through Libra, the scales. The price of sin is paid for. Gospel and Stars is incredible. And the next day, it rises through the Scorpio. Remember, it will crush its head, but it will sting its heel. And this is the unleavened bread. When Jesus went and got the keys of hell and death from Satan, when he went into the oven, pierced and striped for our transgressions, flat bread. If you look at those bread, you know, like matzah or whatever that bread is, mena shevitz, big squares, and it's like burnt stripes with a bunch of holes, pierced and striped. That's what it is. That's what it is. And then the third day, first fruits, when he rises from the dead, Aries, the ram, the lamb, the sacrifice goes into underneath the horizon, and the moon comes up through Ophiuchus, the big hero holding the serpent by the head and the tail. And every single feast plays this out, and every feast is correlated directly to the gestation of a baby in the womb. All of it. So Genesis 7. Remember, so Genesis 1:14. People get this so confused with astrology. That's what the devil did. The devil took astrology. The word constellation is even in Job. And the way the tabernacles is laid out. I keep saying we have to make a video just on this Gospel and the Stars, but I'll get to it. But it's important to point this out because this is how we know what day we're on. It all ties in. This is how we know we're approaching this day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be signs, and for seasons, and for days and years, and feasts. Right? And then, Psalm 19:1. What I'm trying to get at is don't let the devil twist you into not looking into this because they add astrology to it. Psalm, Psalms 19:1. What's going on here? Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is this is God's clock. This is God's celestial or heavenly clock. Psalm 19:1. This is God's heavenly clock, and what they did is they try to twist it. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Job 38:10, I think. Job 38:10. It's everywhere, right? When I fix limits for it, set doors and bars in place. Okay, I just want to show you this real quick. Just so Christians and followers of Christ, disciples of Christ, followers of the way, they understand that we are not doing astrology. Any prognosticators, people trying to tell the future and tell your month and your days, the Bible clearly tells us not to do that. In Exodus, let's see. Constellation verse in the Bible. And then I want to show you about Job 9:9, 38:31. Let's just see. Maybe this will give it all to us. Gospel in the Stars. Yeah, so Job 9:9, 38:1. We're going to get to the whole gospel and stars. We'll make a whole video on it and to be careful with it. I just wanted to show you, to point out how important it is to know, so we know what days we're in and how they twisted it all. And why are they twisting it all? How come every time I put a video about how to find that first day of Nisan, which I talked about after the spring equinox, when Spica, Abib, is on the horizon, and the new moon is in the lamb, and the fish is, the sun is in the tail, and the Pisces, that's day 1. So, Job, Genesis 3:15. Oh, look at it. Right here, where God states to the serpent, you shall bruise his heel. Oh, you can't see it. All right, let me see. The constellation Orion is mentioned in the Bible at least 3 times. Job 38. Hang on, my family's here. Job 38:31. Job 38:31. Yeah, look at this. Canst thou bind the sweet influence of Pleiades? And you know the 7 stars of Pleiades? The 7 stars, the 7 churches? Or loose the bands of Orion? 31 through 33. Let's see. 31 to 30, 32. I think I never had to put a dash before. So this is the Mazzaroth. You got to look into the Mazzaroth. And Arcturus is a super bright star above Virgo. Let's see. You can see here, Spica, which is originally called Abib. That's Arcturus right there. I mean, it's literally in the Bible is what I'm trying to point at. For people not to get, don't mix it with astrology and prognosticators. It's going slow. Job 38. Let me just see something. I want to show you the word consolation. The ordinances of heaven. It's just beautiful. The ordinance, right? Ordained it to keep. It's his clock. He ordained his clock. All right, let's get into the Genesis stuff because. What's this here? Pre-tribulation rapture. I just got a bunch of different tabs open here. I want to talk about this, but take thee by 7s. All right? And the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. So come into the ark, right? This is right where we're at. We're right here. We're right here. This is so fun. Of every clean beast thou shalt take thee by 7s, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female. So God changed this. It was one by 1. He said by 2. He changed it. Of fowls also of the air by 7s. I really want to do a whole study on all the birds because the fowls are so important, especially in the differences in the gospel. Study on birds in Bible. Just like I did that study of all the shepherds, the birds, there's so much connection with the fowls of the air in the first heaven. They're in the first heaven. You get the first heaven where the birds fly, second heaven, which is the universe, and third heaven is heaven where God's throne is. All right? Of fowls also of the air by 7s, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. So when Noah released the raven, this happens on the 9th of Av. And we got confirmation that our calendar is perfect because that the Hebrew calendar is off too. Because in the beginning of August, right, we're saying we're in Av, and they're saying that they're in Elul already. And I'm going, let's get confirmation, Father. I told everyone, live on TikTok, keep your eye out on August 16th, 17th. 18th. We weren't sure exactly which day then because we didn't see the first sliver yet, but it's like August 16th, 17th, 18th, right in there if anything big happens. That is the day lightning struck the Washington Monument. That's the day all that stuff happened in Afghanistan and all those Christians were killed and persecuted. That's the day Noah releases the raven. So that's confirmation that we're right on the right track. 9th of Av is an infamous date. 9th of Av, First temple was destroyed on the 9th of Av. Second temple destroyed on the 9th of Av. World War I started 9th of Av. By World War II, by proxy, started on the 9th of Av. So many things occur on the 9th of Av, and that is the day Noah releases the raven. And only in Genesis does God use Tishri as the first month. And after the Exodus out of Egypt, when they have Passover, let my people go so that we may hold the feast. That's when God changes the calendar 6 months and now makes Abib the first month, which is now called Nisan. Abib was named after that star, Abib, which they also changed to Spica. So they changed it all. It's like, what's going on here? It's pretty obvious what's going on here, right? So I want to show you about the 9th of Av, that we have confirmation that we're exactly on track with the right dates here. So depending on when we see the first sliver, November 15th, 16th, and 21st, 22nd, evening to evening, will be these days when his family got on the ark. Right here. We're getting there, right? Okay. And then what he says, I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from the face of the earth. Oh, it was bad. A lot of people are talking about, how could God do this? And those are people who haven't studied the Bible. And remember, Jesus, as it was in the days of Noah, that really kind of means they were eating and drinking and marrying. But the fallen angels, the Nephilim, and they were giants, and they were messing with human DNA. And they were doing a lot of bad things. The fallen angels were teaching them a lot of things. So check it out. Only in Genesis they're using Tishri, 36 minutes, wow. They were using Tishri as the first month. And I think this is Noah's birth month because of these. And we're going to prove that they were not using the Enoch calendar yet. I mean, watch, you'll see. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark. So that's 7 people, right? Plus Noah, 8. Noah went in, and his 3 sons, and his wife, and his sons. So 8. 8. That's gematria for Jesus Christ, I think. And it's just like kind of said it. 8. And there's so many other flood stories. The Chinese have the same flood story with 8 people on an ark. 8. I'm finding shells all over mountains. There's shells on Mount Everest. I got a whole bag of shells I found way above sea level. And Noah went in and his sons onto the ark because of the waters of the flood. And of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. There went in 2 and 2 unto Noah. Okay, there went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. Here you go. And it came to pass after 7 days. And it came to pass after 7 days, friends. After 7 days, that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. They got on the ark. They were safe on the ark for 7 days. It took them 120 years to build it. And what's the verse in Genesis? That my spirit shall not strive with man forever. It shall be 120. And that's God's years, and that's Jubilees. Oh, there's so much to this. I really want to get into the 6,000 years and the millennial reign, being this God's Sabbath with us, and why God loosed the devil out is because everyone's question is like, why does God have to let the devil out? Why didn't he just banish him right away? Because I've had this question my whole life, and this is the answer that I got after praying and studying, is that God rewards first. He says he's going to punish after. He's like, lock them up for 1,000 years. I'm going to Sabbath with my creation, with Jesus Christ, because you have 6,000 years, and then the millennial reign is the 7,000, right? That's a Sabbath. The 7th is a Sabbath, and remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. That's why it's so important. So God rewards first, banishes the devil and all those who guys mark and all this stuff for 1,000 years. You sit there and you think about what you did. No time for this. We'll deal with you after the Sabbath, and then millennial reign, And because he rewards first. Isn't that beautiful? That's the answer I got. That's the answer I got from trying to figure it out. And I think I made a couple of videos on that, but I want to talk about it. But everything is just so important because everything's connected. That's why I'm always all over the place. But it's like it's all so connected. I can't see any other way to do it unless I just make it real short, just one basic thing. But the thing is, any one basic thing you can go on for 3 hours about. It's unbelievable. So they were on the ark for 7 days. So doesn't that sound like as in the days of Noah, and then until the day they knew not? I'm going to pull that verse up for now just so we have it. In Matthew 24. Oh, Matthew 24:32. I'll just go to Matthew 24. I just want to show you as in the days of Noah here, how they knew not. So, as it was in the days of Noah. And I do want to get into this because this would people use a lot to say that there is none. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, keep that in mind, those days shall the sun be blackened, the moon shall not give her light. Okay? The moon shall not give her light. Everyone says it's after tribulation, but it said the moon will be blood red. Which, by the way, November 19th, we have a blood moon eclipse. It's partial blood moon eclipse because they don't want to call it a tetrad. It's definitely a tetrad. It's when you have 2 years in a row, Passover, Tabernacle, or you have 2 blood moons 2 years in a row. It's a tetrad. I want to say Passover, Tabernacle, Passover, Tabernacles, because the last tetrads happened that way on Passover and Tabernacles. This one's going to be on November 19th, which will be Chesvan 20th. You know, November 19th, November 12th is the day the COP26 ends. This thing. Ugh. We covered this in that last video, and all right, this is as in the days of Noah and Lot. That's why I have it open because it's pretty important. So Genesis 7. Here we go. Sorry, Matthew 24:32. So we'll get into this. This generation shall not pass, lest all these things be fulfilled. Until all these things be fulfilled. This generation, the fig generation, which started in 1948 or 1949 possibly, but most likely 1948 because it's encoded in the Psalms and it's encoded everywhere. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and they knew not until the flood came. So what I'm saying is the coming of the Son of Man, if there is no pre-tribulation rapture, how could people not know they're in a tribulation? He's comparing it exactly to the coming of the Son of Man. So I believe the day of Christ is when he calls us up and we meet him in the clouds. And then we go and we have that 7-year wedding. And the 3.5 year weddings. This is the Gentile wedding. I covered this in a couple of last videos, but Jacob with Leah and Rachel. So we have our pre-tribulation rapture, 3.5 year wedding feast. And then at Revelation 11:11, when the 2 witnesses get called up, then we have the rest of the 3.5 year. So it's a 7-year wedding, a Kiddushin, right? And that's Leah. And then there could be another wedding possibly, which is for the Jews. Because remember, until the full count of the Gentiles come in, then the deliverer shall come from Zion and save them. And so the day of the coming of the Son of Man calls us up into the clouds, and the day of the Lord being Armageddon. Now, whether that's Gog and Magog after millennial reign or the battle before the millennial reign, we're still trying to study that out. But the point being, how could people know not? So shall also the coming of the Son of the Man be. And knew not until the flood came. If you're in a tribulation, you're going to know. You're going to know. People would be praying for rocks to fall on their heads so they can't see the face of God. They're so scared. Boils all over, oceans turning to blood. It's like every volcano's going off right now, and floods and tsunamis, and I know the rainbow. The rainbow's a covenant. He will not flood the earth again. But it's almost like in an hour, everything's going to fall. So all the volcanoes are going to go off. All the earthquakes around the world in diverse places, and the La Palma with over there. And I just trying to be careful. And it's almost like we're going to see it. Like I was saying, I already said this, huh? We're going to see it, and then whoosh, that's the coming of the Son of Man. Just before that happens, nobody knows. Imagine if let's say the flood waters the flood does start the 22nd. It's either the 15th or the 22nd of November. Remember, because the 15th is the day they got on the ark. We were getting there. We're almost there. 45 minutes in. So the November 15th would be Chesvan 10, the day they got on the ark. And then they're on the ark for 7 days until Chesvan 17. So maybe we go on November 15th. Not setting any dates, by the way. I'm just saying. People get really weird about this stuff, so you got to be careful. I'm just saying, we're blessed to watch. I can show you all the verses that say, watch, therefore. People always use this one, right? But as this day, but of that day and hour, see, day and hour, real specific about the hour, the day and hour, knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. And this knoweth is really more like knoweth past tense, or can make known. They don't already know. But one day we'll know because it happened. But why only the Father knows is because it's a wedding. The Father wakes up the groom to run through the streets with a shout. And he shall descend from heaven with a shout and the voice of an archangel. The groom and his buddies with the loud shout with their shofars, Yom Teruah, through the streets as they get their bride. As Jesus comes down with the shout to get his bride. It's all so connected. And see, and of this day knoweth no man. Okay? But, here it is. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and there shall be all the tribes of earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. Oh, this is not the one where it talks about clouds. Or a shout. That's in Thessalonians, I think. Well, we'll get there. I think I have some time. This might be a long one. So I can already tell. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. So remember in Revelation, after the millennial reign, after Satan's finally, after the Sabbath, the millennial reign Sabbath. I just love that. That just came to me. Why God has to lock Satan up, because he rewards first. Thank you, Abba, for that. I've never heard anyone talk about that before. I've watched so many videos, and everyone's like, many people have great ideas about why Satan is loosed out again and to test people and all this stuff, which is great. But I also think it's important to note that he rewards first. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth man. So is this the day that knoweth no man, the day that heaven and earth pass away, which is after millennial reign? Or is he talking about the tribulation starting, the rapture? To me, it looks like he's talking about the day heaven and earth pass away. But it could be all in context of everything up here, of this day. But this day and hour, it's a lot. There's a lot to this stuff. And we're going to see it. Don't let anyone trick you into saying it has already happened. Just like we looked at that verse. Immediately after the tribulation. Isn't that interesting how Smyrna uses the word tribulation? Alright, so now learn a parable of the fig tree. This generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. So, but as the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And we're in the days of Noah right now. Chesvan. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Until the day he entered the ark. So specific. So that's November 15th. Until the day they entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came, which is the 17th. Oh, wow. Okay, so November 15th, high watch. And then that 7-day period, I was just thinking about Smyrna and the 10-day period. So just think about this, though. Look. Then then, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of the Man be. How could they be eating and drinking and marrying, and knowing not that they're not in a tribulation? Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, one taken, the other left. I think this is showing that it's happening at morning, after hours, and night, all around the world simultaneously. Because two in the field, that's working hours. Woman grinding at the mill is like after hours at home. And then it talks about the parable of the thief through the night. Watch ye therefore. Right? And if you watch some of the last videos, Luke 12:38, I'm going to have that open. Because I'm trying to stay on topic of here. Luke 12:38 of possible pre-tribulation rapture verses. Wait, why is this looking funky? The screen's cut off. Hang on a second. Has it been cut off the whole time? Am I have not been paying attention? Hang on, let me just try to fix this here. Well, I hope it hasn't been like that the whole time. And if he shall come on the second watch or the third watch. Let's go 35 through 40. Because it's when he returns from the wedding. I covered this in the last video, but I want to just cover it again, you know. And ye yourselves be like men who wait for the Lord. Blessed are you to keep watch. No man knows the day or hour. Doesn't say to stop watching. Never, ever once does it say not to watch. Setting dates is dangerous, I know, but look. Blessed are those servants whom when the Lord comes blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. So blessed are we when the Lord comes and he finds us watching. We're blessed, literally telling us we're blessed to be doing this. And people will try to tell you, no man knows the day nor the hour. Like, that means stop it. I'm like, no, that is a trick from the pits of hell. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat. That's to eat with them, to sup with them, and will come forth and serve them. And if he shall come in the second watch, or the third watch. See? 1, 2, 3. Pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, pre-wrath for the Jews. And know this, if the good man of the house had known, he would have kept watch. Be therefore ready. Watch ye therefore, and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things. All. Let me see, when he returns from the wedding. I just want to show you what it says when he returns from the wedding. Yeah. And ye yourselves like unto men who wait for the Lord, when he will return from the wedding. Right? That's all I was trying to get at. You know, November 15th, Chesvan 10, we go up, possibly. We have that wedding, and then that's the first watch, and then that's the 3.5, and then the two witnesses, the people who are when they die, their bodies lay on the street, and then there's a voice that says, "Come up here," and they rise from the dead, and every eye sees them rise from the dead. Every eye sees them rise from the dead. Every eye. If it's only two people, how does every eye see? If you're interested in knowing about this, go to AOC Network. Two Witnesses movie part 2, and it's just a whole discussion about how the two witnesses are probably a whole group of people, the two olive trees and the two lampstands, and I really think it's possible, really do. And then so that would be the second watch, when he comes on the second watch, returns from the wedding, and that would be the rest of the 7-year wedding. And then the third watch, right, is for the Jews. This is the three groups of people, and this is the three differences. This is the differences in the Gospels, in the discourse Gospels, Luke, Mark, and Matthew. We've covered it a lot, so I hope people are following along with all the channels. If you're not following along and this is the first video you see, I know a lot of this is going to probably be confusing. So you kind of got to go watch. If you go to the playlist, Spiritual Journey, and just start from there. But, I learned so much more since then, I almost got to redo them all. But it's interesting, right? The first, second, and third watch. And 1 Corinthians 15:41. Oops. 1 Corinthians 15:41. You see? There was one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star differeth it from another star in glory. First, second, third watch. As in the days of Noah. As in the days of Noah. As in the days of Lot. Wait till we get into the days of Lot, because this is where the mark of the beast is going to come in. My thing's frozen here. I don't know what it's doing. As in the days of Noah, so too shall be the coming of the Son of Man. Eating, drinking, marrying. They knew not until the day they got on the ark. They were on the ark for 7 days. You saw that, right? And then the floodwater started. We're going to get there. And we're going to talk about how only in Genesis, Tishri is the first month. Because also remember, Tishri, Feast of Trumpets, Rosh Hashanah, head of the year. That's the day that the years change. Like this Feast of Trumpets, which was, that was September. September 7th. No, it was October 6th. October 6th, 7th, 8th. Because 2-day festival. So at sunset on the 6th was Feast of Trumpets. And we got confirmation with the 9th of Av. We already talked about that. But I was trying to point out just how important this stuff is. That it's using Noah's life. And it changes years. It'll change to 5782. That's what I was saying. This Feast of Trumpets, it changed to 5782. Next Feast of Trumpets, it'll be 5783. That's why I really feel like something big has to happen before next Feast of Trumpets, which is also a Shemitah Jubilee year. Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement being on the same day. And it's a Shemitah. It's basically a Jubilee year. And it'll turn 5783. If it turns 5783, Israel will be 81 by the time everything is fulfilled. Lest all these things be fulfilled. The fig generation shall not pass, lest all these things be fulfilled. That's what that means, right? Learn a parable of the fig tree. Verily I say, listen to me here. Verily I say to you, this generation shall not pass, lest all these things be fulfilled. All these things be fulfilled. So all the tribulation, everything has to happen before Israel turns 81. So if we get to next Feast of Trumpets, it'll be 5783. We're going to have to use the 1949 date. So we can't get past Feast of Trumpets at least the following year. But this year, this next Feast of Trumpets, because everybody knows Psalm 90:10, right? Psalm 90:10 is, Moses gives us how long a human lifespan is, so we can chart these things, which is 70 to 80 years if by strength. And the reason why 70 to 80 is so important there, so important. And God, just like God kind of changed his mind on the unclean beasts, 1 pair to 2 pairs. 70 to 80 years if by strength. Nobody puts God in the box. Nobody puts God in the corner. So all these things got to be fulfilled before the fig generation passes. So if we get to Feast of Trumpets next year, it'll be 5783. That puts Israel at 81. Psalm 90:10. Look. 70 years to 80 years. And we can't get the verse confused about the 120 in Genesis. That 120. Isn't that interesting though? It took him 120 years to build the ark. Here, let's just pull that verse up. Let's just pull it up. Oh no, my computer's going slow here. Maybe I have too many tabs open here. Uh-oh. Are we frozen? Well, we are frozen. 2 new tabs. Alright. Let me close out the Blue Letter Bible for now. Alright, here we go. Google My Spirit 120 Days Genesis verse. Let's just show this and then talk about how Genesis 6:3. I normally capitalize everything, especially if I'm posting it somewhere, but this is so I can get there. Genesis 6:3. KJV. Oh man, computer's going slow here. Hi, sweetie.
We just walked in and you didn't even see us.
I didn't see you. I was recording this. Hi. Almost done. Here, let me just show this and I'm gonna come say hi. Here, y'all can read this.
Hey,
120 years. Huh? Grab it. Hi, monkey. Did you have a fun day? Hi.
I should have not showed you that we was here.
Okay, let me just finish this real quick and then
No,
I'm
I'm
done.
going in there to get something.
I know, it takes a while. Well, you have to put pants on. Okay, we want to play? Alright, let me wrap it up and I'll finish this and then I'm going out. But you can't come in with like that because you don't have to. Okay, I'm coming. Alright, so alright, we're just gonna cover the days of Noah in this one, and we'll do a teaser of the days of Lot because I gotta go spend some time with family. So I just want to show you this 120 years part. 70 to 80 years of my strength. So I don't have as much time as I thought. So let's go back to Luke. Let's go to the days of Noah. I just want to show you how we're approaching this day. Real important to know. That's actually good that this is a separate video because I want this video just to be focused on what time it is. What time it is. And that's where we are. Chesvan. In that first sliver, November 15th will be the day they got on the ark. Right? And it came to pass after 7 days, the flood started. November 22nd. Okay, November 15th, November 22nd. 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22. 7 days. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up. So you see the second month. Second month would be so Noah's birth month is in Tishri. Tishri is the 7th month now. 7th month now. But only in Genesis, Tishri was the first month, and the second month is Chesvan. In Exodus, we could show you the verse, it switches. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Let my people go, that we may hold a feast. Lord says, let my people go, that way they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. His feast. These are God's feasts. So just wanted to show you that real quick, that it switches from Tishri being the head of the year, Rosh Hashanah, Feast of Trumpets, Tishri 1, but it still changes years. You know, it'll be 5783 then. But when that's called the civil calendar. And the agricultural one always starts Nisan 1 will be on or after the spring equinox. That's what's so important there. So we're just going to cover it as in the days of Noah here and show you this stuff. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day, so that's Chesvan 17, the fountains of the deep broke up and the windows of heaven were opened. November 22nd. That's what we're looking at right here. This happened on November 22nd. Coming up, 2021. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So I actually want to chart that out. I want to chart out exactly 40 days after November 22nd. November 22nd, 8, 30th. Yeah, November, December. Well, that's just... Oh my goodness! What if that's Hanukkah, dedication of the temple? There's got to be something there. So November 22nd. We should do time date calculator. Let's look. Time between dates. Time between dates. November. Come on. What's it doing? November 22nd. 2021. But I want to do 40 days. Count days, add days. Let's see, add days. And my computer's going so slow right now. I got all these windows open. Oh. It's frozen again. Give me a break. Okay, here it goes. Hang on. Now it's gonna do something. Hang on. Add 40 days. Oh, come on. Okay. This is a really good computer too. I gotta defrag it. Add 40 days. Oops, sorry. Sorry. 40 days. January 1st. (2022). November 22nd plus 40 days. January 1st. January 1st, and we're gonna have to figure it out what it is on the creator calendar. Oh my goodness, friends. Isn't this just so incredible? And God uses the Hebrew, his creator, the Hebrew year and the Greek years. I can't believe that the Pope made them the Gregorian calendar with all these evil pagan names of the months. November, December, and they even twisted it because on the Julian, December, Deci, means 10, but they made it the 12th because they didn't want the 7th being the 7th. Everything's all twisted. We got to do a whole study on the calendar. Let's do this. Study on Julian, Gregorian, Pope change, calendar. That's how I do it. I have a huge list of things that I need to do, but anyways, I'm glad we did this. 40 days in between. From right here, when the flood started. Genesis. 40 days and 40 nights. So it takes you to January 1st. In the self-same day, Noah entered the ark, and Shem and Ham and Japheth, and the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of the son with them into the ark. They and every beast and every kind, they went into the ark, two and two, where there's a breath of life. And they that went in male and female, as God commanded them. And Lord shut them in. Lord shut the door. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased, and bare up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth. It was lifted up above the earth. And this ark, the same day the ark of the covenant was placed in the tabernacle, is on this same day as well. It's on the same day, the ark of the covenant, and the same day the ark was lifted up. You see the typology of being lifted up? And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth. Okay? And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits. Cubits was an arm length. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle. So, and all the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. We might have to stop it, end it right here, because this is important. 150 days. Now, so this is 5 months. We're gonna have to show you where it says, right? So, something really fun to do is just to get a piece of paper and just draw this out and chart every single day yourself. You really, by doing it yourself, you learn so much. But how could 150 days be 5 months? Because some days have, like Elul has 29 days. So this right here, God put that in there to show us that they were not using the same calendar. They were not. Because 5 months would not be 150 days. It'd be 147. It'd be 147. So only in Genesis, only in Genesis in the beginning, in the story of Noah, up until Exodus, when God changes it, it's using Tishri, the head of the year, when the years changes, as the first month. And God remembered Noah and every living thing on the cattle. Wow, the fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters returned from the earth continually. Oh, wow. And after the end of 150 days, the waters were abated. The ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month. Okay? On Ararat. You see that right there? That is the 17th day of the 1st month. It says 7th month, but remember, in Exodus, this becomes the 1st month. So the 17th day of the 1st month is first fruits. Passover is on the 14th. Full moon, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits. See? This is the same day the ark rested. So we got to chart these days out, because when I saw that 40 days taking us to January 1st, oh wow. And the waters decreased continually until here's important. This is how we know it's the 9th of Av. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. Okay? So remember, it changes by 7 months, or 6 months, so it's not the 10th month. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven. Okay, so this is Av, the 5th month. 10th, it's saying it's the 10th, but it's the 5th. And if you count the 40 days, if you literally add and count all this up, you get exactly the 9th of Av using prophetic year, the 360 year count, when he set forth the raven. And it went to and fro and to and fro. And he sent forth a dove for him. Remember, so the dove, the raven representing the spirit of the Antichrist. Because you remember, where hast thou been in Job? And the devil says, just going to and fro. And the dove being the whole Holy Spirit. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot. The sole. And she returned unto him in the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her into the ark by the sole. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove. See? So the raven went to and fro for 7. And he did it again. And the dove came back in the evening, and her mouth was an olive leaf. That's why the dove carrying the olive leaf, that's a sign of peace. And Noah's name means rest and grace. So rest and grace knew that the waters were abated from the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days and sent forth a dove, which returned not again anymore. So we got to count. We can chart every single day and figure exactly when this day was. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month. So this right here, the 1st month, this is Nisan. But it's really, in this verse, it's Tishri 1. This is Feast of Trumpets right here. In the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. Okay, so this is when on the Ark of the Covenant, when the covering was removed off the ark in Tabernacles, the Ark of the Covenant, and this is the same day. Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Trumpets. I covered that in another video. When Noah removed the covering of the ark. Ark, same day. And the 2nd month, which is on the 7th and 20th day, the earth was dried. See, so it's a year. It's a full year. So now I'm going to actually get more into this, because the 7th month is Tishri. Sorry, they're using Tishri as the 1st month. So this would be Nisan 20. 2 days after Resurrection Day, the earth was dried up. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth the ark, thou and thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee. 8 of them. So I want to see, and Noah build an altar. So that is the last date that we get. Right here. And in the 2nd month, which is not the Hebrew month of Issachar, Nisan, Issachar, that's on the Creator. That's how it is now. But in Creator's calendar, it's in Genesis, in this chapter, it's Tishri is the 1st month, Chesvan is the 2nd month. So it's a full year. So now they're in the Chesvan 27. So the flood started on Chesvan 17. Oh, that's 10 days. Remember we were talking about the 10 days of Smyrna? It's 10 days less than a year. It's 10 days less than a year. Chesvan 27. The 17th to the 1 year. Chesvan 17, 2021 would be Chesvan 27, 2022. And that's 10-day difference. Remember we showed you about the church of Smyrna? To be tried and persecuted 10 days. That's the open door. Revelation 2. 10 days. I'm seeing a lot of 10s, and that's Feast of Trumpets. Oh, yes. That's also what we were talking about. That's Feast of Trumpets. Where's Genesis? This is so incredible. So that's the last date it gives us, and that's a 10-day difference. And that's actually a lunar cycle. That is a lunar cycle. 355. Oh, this is incredible. All right, so I think we're just going to stop with that and keep it as in the days of Noah. I just want to show you one thing, and this will be for the next video, about as in the days of Lot. Likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold. Pay attention to that right there. They bought, they sold. This is typology, okay? So how do they buy and sell? The mark of the beast has to come. I'm thinking mid-trib. I shouldn't say has to. For the timeline that I'm on, that I'm looking at right now, it's that the mark of the beast comes mid-trib. For this, but many other reasons. I mean, in Revelation 19, Revelation 14, it literally tells us there's going to be angels flying across the sky, or it's going to be angels sounding an alarm telling people not to take the mark. I don't hear that right now. There's going to be angels telling people all kinds of things during the tribulation. But look, also was in the days of Lot. This is like this coming of the Son of Man. Same as the days of Lot. They ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day, this is the same thing, right? Two shall be grinding, one taken, the other left. Come on, what does it mean? You know, two men in the field, one taken, the other left. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his wife shall preserve it. She looked back, and she turned to a pillar of salt. Worldly ways, missing the world. So I think we just covered the days of Noah. So the next video, I'm gonna have to not. In the next video, I'm gonna hope that people watch this one first, and then we're gonna get into all the. I'm actually glad it happened this way, because the next video we're really gonna get into all the pre-tribulation rapture verses, and among other things, not just pre-tribulation, but also mid-tribulation and pre-wrath, all of it, because you got a pre-tribulation rapture. You have a Revelation 11:11 when the two witnesses get caught up. See, people get me confused when I say three raptures. It's like you think about it clearly. What I'm saying, Revelation 11:11 clearly states that the two witnesses rise from the dead and caught up. So people can say rapture, but we know they die first. So it's three groups of people. That's what I'm talking about. The fine linen robe, the purple robe, and the scarlet robe, and the secret place and under the bed, and for all in the house to see. People who have been following along know what that means. Other differences in the Gospels. Every single parable correlates with the differences the same way. So God bless y'all. Next video, we'll get into the days of Lot and try to cover every single possibility of pre-tribulation, mid-trib, pre-wrath, rapture, using Scripture only. No opinion, no nothing, just using Scripture. Same thing I'm doing here is just I'm positing this and saying, is this a possibility? Is this pointing to a possibility of a pre-tribulation rapture? People were eating, drinking, marrying, buying, selling, trading, and they knew not until the day the door in the ark closed. So we'll cover that. A lot of people will say, you know, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, we shall be transformed. And people say, there it is. It's at the last trump. So they automatically assume the trump of the last trumpet of Revelation. But the thing is, that wasn't written yet. They didn't know about the trumpets of Revelation. And I understand the Bible prophesies of the future, but has it ever prophesied of someone's future vision prophecy? And also this, they knew what the last trump was. They knew what the great trump was. They knew what the first trump was. It's the shofar of a ballad. The first trump being Pentecost and a type of shofar blast, and the great trump being Day of Atonement, and the last trump being Feast of Trumpets. So something could happen on Feast of Trumpets. And if we say November 15th or 22nd is the day, we're going to have to chart 3.5 years from that date. If everybody wants to help with that, November 22nd. Here, let's just do this real quick. Time date calculator. Google. This might be cool. What if it lands on Feast of Trumpets? 3.5 years. What if it lands on Feast of Trumpets, which is also known as the last trump? That could be the mid-tribulation. 3.5 years. I got too many verses open here. I wanted to show you the day of the Lord. So November. Let's start with November 15th first, because that's the day they got on the ark. 2021. Add 3.5 years. Okay, 3 years, 6 months. Why does it have so many months here? Oh, never mind, I get it. May 15th, 2025. Oh! Okay, hang on a second. November 15th. I think that is Passover. November 15th plus 3.5 years is May 15th, 2025. Okay, I'm coming, sweetie. And let's just do this. 22nd. Hey, I'm coming, sweet baby. Alright, so this is going to be the end of that. This is the end of it. May 22nd, 2025. Alright. I am, sweetie. I can't just stand up right now. Alright, love y'all. Alright. Much love. Alright, so that's it. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch up on the next one. Bye.